As a fleet user on the dashboard, I want to see a chart for vulnerability exposure so that I can understand how my team is doing with reaching our vuln patching goals. So basically, we've got all this data that we collect with Fleet and we put it to various usage, but what we haven't been doing as much of until now is working with historical data. A big part of this story was to put in place a historical data framework for collecting that. I won't go too far into the technical details. That's something I might talk about in Eng Together, but suffice it to say, we're using a SCD or slowly changing dimension format so that for things that might have millions of rows because of high cardinality, like CVEs, where we have 10,000 CVEs and we're recording every hour, that could add up very quickly. But instead, we just record changes. So when the set of hosts that are affected by a certain vulnerability change, we record a new row. And otherwise, we keep it open and just say when that data point is valid from and to, which collapses that down. You can switch charts by clicking here and selecting vulnerability exposure. This one shows in red. The darker the red, the more exposed you are. I haven't been collecting as much data for this one, but the important thing to note about this chart, at least for the first release of this, we are limiting this to showing vulnerability to specific critical CVEs in specific software set. So if you hover over this right now, it'll actually show you a link in the tooltip that goes to just the code right now that shows you which things that we're looking at. So this is a fuzzy match on a bunch of different software, including Linux kernel images, and it also is looking at OS CVEs, so anything in Mac OS or Windows, we get caught up in that. And as we move forward with this, we're going to introduce more dedicated filters per chart. So you might be able to filter by CVE level on this chart or by specific CVEs if you like. And we'll be introducing different charts in the future. If you were at the engineering offsite, you would have seen Constantine with a policy compliance chart in here that we're going to be introducing as well. It looks really good. So that is the charting story that we have going right now.
Scott will just add that in the future, not yet, but you'll be able to control this graph easily with the YAML via GitOps so that you have a history of changes to vulns that you're tracking. You'll be able to look at specific CVEs, make exceptions, and even filter using stuff like known kevs. Great work, Scott.
Yep, all good stuff coming in the future. So that is that one.